Have you ever stopped to think that something as simple as your daily bathroom routine might be quietly telling you more about your health than any doctor's visit? I know, it sounds a little surprising, maybe even a bit uncomfortable to consider. Honestly, I used to ignore those small signs myself, thinking they were just part of getting older. But over time, I realized that overlooking these little habits was costing me years of feeling my best. It's something many of us experience. The subtle signs in the bathroom that hint at deeper health challenges, yet we brush them aside because, well, it feels private or awkward to pay attention. I get it. I've been there, and I want you to know you're not alone. The good news is, it doesn't have to be complicated or overwhelming to make changes that truly matter. In fact, by simply adjusting a few everyday bathroom habits, you can unlock surprising benefits, adding healthy, vibrant years to your life while keeping your independence intact. These aren't drastic lifestyle overhauls, just small shifts that gently support your body's natural rhythms and strength. So, as you watch, I invite you to reflect. Which of your daily habits might be quietly shaping your health? And if you're ready to take gentle steps toward living better, you deserve it, and I'm here to help you along the way. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. Now, let's begin. Habit 1. Morning urination color and frequency. Most mornings, we shuffle to the bathroom with little thought, eager to start our day or simply glad to have made it through another night. We rarely pause to consider what those first few moments in the bathroom might be telling us, especially something as ordinary, even mundane, as the color of our morning urine. Yet, this unassuming detail holds a secret many overlook, myself included, for many years. I remember those early mornings when I was in my 70s. The house was quiet, sunlight barely peeking through the curtains, and I'd make my way to the bathroom with a familiar stiffness in my knees and a list of chores running through my mind. If you're like me, you probably never gave that first bathroom trip much thought. It was just another routine, another checkbox in the day. But looking back, I wish I'd paid more attention. There were signs, small ones, that I ignored. If only I'd understood sooner how much they could reveal about the health of my body and how many good years I still had ahead. It's strange, isn't it, to think that the body's most basic functions can act as messengers? But the truth is, your morning urine is like a little status report from your organs, particularly your kidneys, about what's going on inside. It's not something we discuss over coffee with friends or bring up at family gatherings. Maybe we're embarrassed, or maybe we just don't know it matters. For a long time, I was the same. I used to think dark yellow urine in the morning was just normal, maybe even a sign of getting older. That's just what happens, I'd say to myself as I hurried to wash my hands and get on with my day. It never crossed my mind that my kidneys, my heart, even my brain might be asking for help through that simple warning sign. But as the days went by, I noticed I felt more tired, a bit more sluggish, and not quite as sharp as I used to be. Then one afternoon, at my annual checkup, my doctor asked a question I wasn't expecting. How often do you notice your urine is dark first thing in the morning? I chuckled nervously and shrugged. All the time. Isn't that just what happens as we age? He shook his head gently and explained, actually, it's your body's way of letting you know it's been running low on water while you slept. That dark color isn't just a coincidence. It's a sign of dehydration, and over time, it can wear out your kidneys and even shorten your healthy years. I was surprised, maybe even a little embarrassed. But that honest conversation changed the way I looked at my morning routine. It turns out, chronic dehydration is one of the most common and overlooked issues among seniors in America. Our bodies become less sensitive to thirst as we get older, and it's easy to forget to drink enough water, especially before bed. We worry about waking up at night to use the bathroom, so we sip less, thinking we're doing ourselves a favor. But in reality, our organs need that hydration during the night's silent hours of repair. My doctor explained further, When your urine is dark yellow first thing in the morning, it means your kidneys have been working overtime, concentrating all the waste products from the previous day with not enough water to help flush them out. It's like trying to wash a dirty dish with barely a splash of water. Eventually, the grime builds up. He went on to say that this chronic stress can wear down the kidneys, contribute to high blood pressure, and even speed up the aging process in ways we might not see until it's too late. The research supports this, too. Studies from respected institutions like the Mayo Clinic and the National Institute on Aging have found that older adults who start their day with dark, concentrated urine are at a higher risk for kidney problems, urinary tract infections, and even cognitive decline. Our bodies, as it turns out, are constantly trying to tell us how to take better care of them if we only know how to listen. The good news? The solution is so simple it almost feels too easy. All it takes is a little glass of water, maybe two, waiting by your bedside each night. Instead of jumping straight out of bed in the morning, I started making a small change. I'd reach for that glass and drink it down before my feet even touched the floor. At first, it felt odd. I worried I'd have to rush to the bathroom even more. But to my surprise, not only did I feel more refreshed, my morning urine quickly became a light, pale yellow, the color my doctor had said was the sweet spot for healthy hydration. That one small change made a world of difference. My energy picked up. My mind felt clearer, and those morning aches didn't seem quite as stubborn. Over time, I realized I was getting sick less often and felt more resilient, even during those long, dry winter months. And the best part? It didn't require any expensive supplements or complicated regimens. Just a little more water, right when my body needed it most. I began sharing this secret with my friends. Some laughed at first, but many came back weeks later with their own stories of feeling better, lighter, and more themselves again. It's funny how something so simple, something we all do every day without thinking, can hold the key to so much of our well-being. Of course, it's not just about the color. Paying attention to how often you need to go in the morning is also important. If you're running to the bathroom every hour or barely going at all, it might be worth mentioning to your doctor. Frequency, just like color, can tell us a lot about what's happening inside, about our hydration, but also about our heart, our kidneys, and even our blood sugar. Sometimes, our bodies try to get our attention in subtle ways, hoping we'll listen. If I could give one piece of advice to anyone over 65, and really to anyone at all, it would be this. Don't ignore those little signals your body sends each morning. Instead, see them as gentle reminders that you're still here, that your body still wants to care for you, and that it's never too late to start a kinder, more attentive routine. Pour yourself a glass of water tonight. Place it on your nightstand. When you wake, let that be your first act of self-care. You'll be amazed at how such a small habit can bring so much more life to your years. And if you notice your morning urine staying dark even after you've hydrated, or if anything else seems off, don't hesitate to reach out to your doctor. There's no shame in asking questions or seeking a little reassurance. It's one of the bravest, most loving things you can do for yourself. For so many years, I treated my morning routine as nothing special. A sleepy shuffle, a quick rinse, a race to breakfast. But now, I see it for what it truly is. A daily check-in, a quiet conversation between my body and me. And every day, with each glass of water, I'm answering back. I'm listening. I care. I want to stay here, living well, as long as I can. So tomorrow morning, as the light filters through your window and you head to the bathroom, remember this little story. Take a moment to look, to notice, and to drink in the new day, literally and figuratively. It's never too late to begin again, never too late to turn a routine into a ritual that honors your health, your independence, and your precious years ahead. Habit 2. Balance while using the toilet. There's something most of us don't like to talk about. Those little moments of uncertainty that sneak into our lives as we get older. For some, it starts with a slight wobble while reaching for a light switch, or an uneasy feeling stepping off a curb. But for many of us, The first real sign appears in the place we feel safest and most private, the bathroom. I remember the day the realization dawned on me. It wasn't a dramatic fall or some crisis, just an ordinary morning, one I'd lived 1,000 times before. I finished my business on the toilet, then went to stand up as usual. But instead of rising smoothly, I instinctively reached for the edge of the sink, needing just a bit of extra help to push myself up. I hesitated for a moment, not because I was in pain, but because I'd never needed to do that before. It felt insignificant at first, almost laughable. That's odd, I thought. Maybe I'm just stiff today. I brushed it off and moved on with my day, like so many of us do. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. But over the weeks, I caught myself doing it again and again. Pushing off the counter, grabbing the towel rack, or bracing my hands on my knees for that extra boost. It didn't seem urgent, but deep down, a quiet concern started to grow. Was this just normal aging, or was my body sending me a message? As it turns out, I wasn't alone. A good friend, Barbara, once confided that she, too, found herself relying on the bathroom counter to stand up, especially on chilly mornings. We laughed about our bathroom gymnastics, joking that maybe we needed Olympic judges to rate our technique. But behind the humor, there was a thread of worry. What if this was the beginning of something more? One afternoon, during a routine checkup, my doctor asked me, "Can you sit down and stand up from your toilet without using your hands?" I shrugged, thinking it was a silly question. But he explained, in that gentle, matter-of-fact way doctors have, "This simple movement tells me a lot about your lower body strength and balance." The bathroom is where the earliest signs of muscle weakness often show up, long before you notice problems elsewhere. He went on to explain that the ability to rise from a seated position without using your hands is more than just a quirky challenge. It's a vital sign, a predictor of how many years we might continue to live independently. As we age, our muscles, especially in the legs and core, start to lose their strength, often so gradually that we hardly notice. But the consequences, if ignored, can be profound. I listened, a bit stunned. I'd always associated muscle weakness with big, obvious events, like falling or struggling to get out of a chair in the living room. But the truth is, it often starts with these small, private moments. The bathroom, a place of routine and habit, becomes the silent stage where our bodies first whisper their needs. I thought of Tom, a neighbor who had always been strong and independent. He loved gardening and was famous in the neighborhood for his prize-winning tomatoes. But after his wife passed, I noticed he'd become more hesitant, moving a little slower. One day, he confided that he'd nearly slipped in the bathroom while trying to stand up. That minor scare shook his confidence. Before long, he avoided long walks and started skipping his gardening altogether, worried he might fall. Stories like Tom's and Barbara's aren't rare. Research from Harvard Medical School and the American Journal of Medicine has shown that seniors who struggle to rise from the toilet without using their hands have a dramatically higher risk of falls, hospitalization, and even earlier admission to assisted living. It's a sobering reality, but one that can be changed. The key, my doctor assured me, isn't about shaming ourselves or feeling defeated. It's about gently noticing these signals and responding with care. He showed me a simple exercise, something I could do every time I used the bathroom. After sitting, I'd stand up using only my legs, then sit back down and repeat the movement 5 times. At first, it was harder than I expected. I kept my hands close by, hovering just above the grab bar, ready for support if needed. But over time, with a little practice, I found it easier and even a bit empowering. The bathroom became my gym. No fancy equipment required. I started to look forward to the little challenge, measuring my progress day by day. After a month, I realized I didn't need to steady myself on the sink anymore. My legs felt stronger, my balance more reliable, and my confidence began to return, not just in the bathroom, but everywhere. The beauty of this habit is in its simplicity. No special gear, no intimidating routines. Just using the moments you already have, turning routine into strength-building ritual. If you're worried about safety, it's perfectly okay to keep a sturdy grab bar or chair nearby. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. My friend Barbara started doing the same, and soon we were comparing notes, encouraging each other to stick with it. Looking back, I see how ignoring those early signs almost cost me more than a few wobbly mornings. The slow creep of muscle loss, what doctors call sarcopenia, can begin years before we notice it in bigger ways. But by catching it early, by responding with small, steady action, we have the power to slow, even reverse, the decline. It's natural to feel embarrassed or frustrated when our bodies don't cooperate like they used to. But please, don't let that shame keep you from making a change. You deserve to feel stable and secure in your own home, to rise from your seat with ease, to walk through life with confidence. Now, every time I use the bathroom, I'm reminded of how small choices add up. Those 5 sit-to-stand movements are a little promise I make to myself, an act of care for the years I still have ahead. They keep me strong for the garden, for the grandchildren, for the simple joys of an independent life. So, if you've noticed yourself grabbing the counter a little more often, or feeling just a bit unsteady as you stand, I invite you to see it not as a defeat, but as an invitation. Your body is whispering, "Pay attention, care for me, help me stay strong." And you have the power to answer that call, right there in the quiet privacy of your bathroom. With each day, each small repetition, you'll feel the difference. First in your legs, then in your heart, and finally, in your spirit. It's never too late to start, never too late to choose strength over struggle. The bathroom, it turns out, can be the first place you reclaim your confidence, one careful step at a time. Habit 3. Bathroom lighting and night navigation. If you're like most people I know, nighttime trips to the bathroom have become a familiar part of life as the years pass. Maybe it's just once a night, or maybe a couple of times, especially after a cup of tea before bed. It can feel almost automatic. Half asleep, you shuffle down the hallway, hoping not to stub a toe or wake yourself too much. For a long time, I didn't think much of it. I just thought it was another part of growing older. But, as it turns out, these nighttime journeys hold more importance than I ever realized. For years, my routine was the same. I'd wake in the dark, fumble for my slippers, and make my way to the bathroom with my hand brushing the wall, feeling for familiar shapes. Sometimes, I'd turn on the bright overhead light as soon as I reached the switch, squinting at the sudden glare and feeling wide awake in an instant. Other times, not wanting to disturb my sleep, I'd brave the darkness, relying on memory and luck to keep me safe. I never considered that either choice might be quietly chipping away at my health. It wasn't until a good friend of mine, Richard, had a close call that I began to rethink everything. Richard, who'd always prided himself on his independence, shared his story one morning over coffee. "I got up for the bathroom last night," he said, "and I don't even remember how, but the next thing I knew, I was halfway to the floor. I just caught myself on the door frame in time." He was rattled. I guess my eyes just never adjusted. Or maybe I was half asleep. But it scared me. What if I had Alan? That conversation hit close to home. I started noticing how many of my friends, neighbors, and even family members had had similar close calls. The Centers for Disease Control says more than 80% of bathroom falls among older adults happen at night. It's not just the trip hazards. The biggest danger, they say, is the lighting. Too much or too little can both set us up for a tumble or rob us of the deep, healing sleep our bodies need. The problem is, our eyes and our brains change as we age. The pupils don't adjust as quickly, our depth perception gets worse, and the nerves that send balance signals from our feet to our brain become a bit sluggish. Add in a dark hallway or a blinding overhead bulb, and suddenly what should be a simple walk becomes a risky obstacle course. But here's the part one never expected. The type of light you use at night doesn't just affect your safety, It can also impact your memory, mood, and even your heart. I learned from my doctor that harsh, blue-toned lights, like the kind in many bathroom overhead fixtures, suppress your melatonin, the hormone that tells your body it's time to sleep. So when you flip on that bright light in the middle of the night, it's like telling your brain, time me to wake up, even if it's 2 a.m. That's why, after a midnight bathroom visit, I'd sometimes lie in bed, wide-eyed, unable to fall back asleep. I started paying attention to how I felt after those nighttime interruptions. On mornings after I'd turned on the overhead, I noticed my mind felt foggier, and I was crankier with my family. My blood pressure was a little higher at my next checkup. I brushed it off, but the pattern repeated. It was only after reading an article from Stanford Sleep Center that I realized the connection. Poor sleep quality, triggered by harsh lighting and broken nighttime routines, could speed up cognitive decline and even make my heart work harder. So what's a person to do? We can't just stop going to the bathroom at night. And walking in total darkness, hoping for the best, isn't exactly a safe bet either. Thankfully, the solution is both simple and affordable. Gentle, warm-toned night lights. After Richard's scare and my restless nights, I bought a few inexpensive motion-activated night lights, the kind that plug in low to the ground and give off a soft amber or red glow. The first night, I was amazed. I woke up, followed the gentle path of light to the bathroom, and didn't feel jolted awake by the glare. When I came back to bed, I fell asleep almost instantly. The lights were just bright enough to keep me steady, but not so strong as to wake me fully. It was such a small change, but the difference was enormous. The science backs this up. Studies from Johns Hopkins and Stanford have shown that seniors who use warm, low-level night lights not only reduce their risk of nighttime falls, but also spend more time in the deep, restorative stages of sleep, the kind that helps your brain process memories and your body repair itself. And here's another tip. By positioning the lights low, about a foot off the floor, you get enough illumination for safety without lighting up the whole room. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. I passed this advice on to my children and friends. My neighbor, Janet, who'd been having trouble with insomnia and foggy mornings, noticed within a week that her sleep improved and she felt more clear-headed during the day. Even her heart rate on her smartwatch started to settle down, all from switching out one harsh bulb for a handful of gentle night lights. If you share your home with a partner, warm-toned lights are less likely to disturb their sleep, too. And for those who worry about privacy or home safety, these little lights can be placed strategically along the route from your bedroom to the bathroom and inside the bathroom itself. There's no need to wire anything complicated or buy expensive gadgets. A basic pack of motion sensor lights from a hardware store is enough. For years, I thought being tough meant just toughing it out in the dark or not being a bother by adding new gadgets to my home. But now, I see it differently. Taking care of yourself, of your brain, your body, and your sleep, isn't a sign of weakness. It's an act of respect for yourself and for the years you still have ahead. These days, I see my nighttime walk to the bathroom not as a nuisance, but as a gentle ritual. I glide quietly down a softly lit path, safe and undisturbed, and I drift back to bed knowing I've cared for myself in a small but meaningful way. My mind feels clearer, my balance is steadier, and my family worries less. If you've ever woken in the night and hesitated at the darkness, or winced at the sting of a bright light, I hope you'll consider making this little change. It's a kindness to yourself, a small investment in many more peaceful nights and safe mornings. Sometimes, the simplest solutions are the ones that bring the most comfort. So tonight, as you get ready for bed, look around your hallway and bathroom. Imagine what a gentle line of light could do for your safety, your rest, and your peace of mind. After all, you deserve to feel secure in every step you take, day or night. And if you have your own story, your tip for safer, more restful nights, I'd love to hear it. We're all walking this path together, one peaceful night at a time. Habit 4. Morning bowel movement timing and consistency. Every morning, Many of us wake with the hope that our bodies will cooperate smoothly throughout the day. Among the many signs our bodies send, one of the most telling, yet often overlooked, is the timing and regularity of our bowel movements. It's not the kind of conversation we usually have over breakfast, but it's one of the quietest signals about our internal health, especially as we grow older. I remember struggling with irregular bowel habits for years. Some days, everything seemed to flow naturally, while on others, I'd find myself waiting longer, feeling bloated or uncomfortable. It was frustrating and, honestly, embarrassing at times. Like many, I thought it was just normal aging, or something I'd have to accept. But deep down, I suspected there was more going on, something my doctor later confirmed. One afternoon, during a routine visit, my gastroenterologist explained that the timing and consistency of my morning bowel movements were more than just routine. They were a window into the health of my gut, my immune system, and even my longevity. He told me our digestive systems operate on an internal clock, our circadian rhythm, that influences when and how our bodies move waste along. Disruptions in this rhythm, especially in seniors, can lead to inflammation, poor gut bacteria balance, and weakened immunity. That conversation opened my eyes. I realized that irregular bowel habits were not just uncomfortable, they could be silently damaging my gut barrier, letting toxins slip into my bloodstream, and speeding up the aging process in my body. It was a wake-up call I wasn't expecting but desperately needed. My doctor recommended a simple yet powerful change: to eat a fiber-rich breakfast within 30 minutes of waking and then give myself at least 20 minutes to respond naturally. No rushing, no distractions. At first, that sounded like a lot to ask. In a world that's always moving fast, taking that time felt like a luxury. But I was willing to try. I started by adding berries, whole grains, and a tablespoon of ground flaxseed to my morning meal. Not only did it taste good, but it gave me a sense of control. After eating, I made it a habit to sit quietly, sometimes with a cup of warm tea, allowing my body's natural gastrocolic reflex, the signal from my stomach to my colon, to do its job. No rushing off to the phone or checking the news. Just me, my breath, and the steady rhythm of my body. Within 2 weeks, I noticed a remarkable difference. My bowel movements became more consistent and predictable. The bloating eased, and I felt lighter and more energized throughout the day. It was like reclaiming a part of my health that I hadn't even realized was slipping away. What surprised me most was how much this simple habit influenced other parts of my well-being. My doctor explained that our gut controls about 70% of our immune system. When the gut barrier is healthy and inflammation is low, our bodies can fight off illnesses better, keep chronic conditions in check, and even maintain clearer thinking and better moods. This connection between gut health and overall longevity is backed by science. Studies published in journals like the American Geriatric Society show that seniors with regular morning bowel movements tend to have fewer hospitalizations and lower rates of inflammatory diseases. It's a reminder that our bodies are deeply interconnected, and taking care of one part often helps the whole. I began sharing this knowledge with my friends and family, encouraging them to pay attention to their morning routines. Many were skeptical at first, thinking it was just about diet or exercise. But after trying the timing and consistency approach, several told me they felt more balanced and in control than they had in years. Of course, every person's body is different, and some might have underlying conditions that affect digestion. That's why I always say, if you're experiencing persistent irregularity or discomfort, it's important to speak with a healthcare professional. But for many of us, these small, mindful adjustments can make a profound difference. It's also about kindness to ourselves and our bodies. Permitting ourselves to slow down in the morning, to honor the body's natural signals, is an act of self-respect and love. It's saying, I deserve to feel well, to start my day with ease, and to nurture the health I need for many more years. So tomorrow morning, as you prepare your breakfast, consider adding a little extra fiber and setting aside a few moments just for you. Sit down without distractions, breathe deeply, and listen to your body's gentle cues. Let your bathroom visit be more than a routine chore. It can be a daily ritual of health and renewal. Remember, it's never too late to support your gut, your immune system, and your longevity. Small, consistent habits like these can add up to big changes, helping you live your golden years with strength, comfort, and confidence. You've earned that. And if you have your own experiences or tips about maintaining digestive health, I'd love to hear your story. Together, we can learn, support, and inspire each other on this journey toward better health and longer, happier lives. Habit 5. Grip strength when using bathroom fixtures. It's easy to take for granted the simple things we do every day: turning on the faucet, opening a medicine cabinet, or gripping a towel. But as we grow older, these small actions can become surprisingly telling signs of our overall health. I didn't realize how important grip strength was until it started slipping away from me, quietly at first, then more noticeably. One morning, I remember struggling to turn the knob on my shower. It wasn't that the knob was stiff or broken, it was my hand. My fingers felt weak, almost numb, and no matter how hard I tried, I had to use both hands just to get it moving. I brushed it off, blaming the cold or maybe arthritis, but deep inside, I knew something was off. That little frustration became a daily reminder that my body was changing in ways I hadn't fully acknowledged. My doctor later explained that grip strength is one of the most powerful indicators of overall muscle health and even heart function. It's not just about your hands, it reflects the strength of your entire body. When your grip weakens, it can mean your muscles and nerves are losing their vitality, increasing your risk of falls, frailty, and even cardiovascular problems. I was surprised to learn that studies have shown grip strength outperforms many traditional health measures in predicting longevity. A simple test, squeezing a small hand grip device, can tell doctors a lot about your risk of mortality and disability. That hit me hard because it meant something as everyday as turning on a faucet could be a red flag. My neighbor William shared a similar experience. He told me about how he'd suddenly struggled with opening his bathroom medicine cabinet. At first, it seemed like a minor annoyance, but his doctor soon pointed out it was an early sign of muscle decline that needed attention. William was able to take steps early, starting hand exercises and strengthening routines that helped him maintain his independence longer than he expected. The good news is, strengthening your grip doesn't require hours at the gym or complicated equipment. Your bathroom can become your workout space, with just a small stress ball or hand gripper sitting on your counter. Every time you wash your hands, you can squeeze the ball firmly 10 times with each hand. Simple, quick, and effective. I started doing this myself, and it became a gentle reminder to care for my strength. Sometimes, I'd even challenge myself to use my non-dominant hand for brushing my teeth or combing my hair, helping maintain the vital connections between my brain and muscles. It felt empowering, turning everyday routines into moments of self-care. Rehabilitation specialists at the Mayo Clinic have documented that consistent hand exercises like these can improve grip strength by up to 18% in just 30 days. That's a powerful statistic when you think about the impact on overall health. Stronger muscles, better balance, improved heart function, and a reduced risk of becoming dependent on others. These small changes don't just improve your hands, they can help keep you independent, confident, and in control of your life. I began to see everyday tasks as opportunities to nurture my strength rather than signs of decline. Of course, it's natural to feel frustrated or worried when simple movements become harder. But remember, strength isn't about perfection. It's about persistence and kindness toward yourself. Every squeeze, every moment spent focusing on your hands is an investment in your future well-being. So next time you're in the bathroom, pause for a moment. Pick up that stress ball or just make a fist and squeeze. Do it with intention. Feel your muscles working, your hands regaining their power, and your body responding with renewed vitality. These little acts build a foundation for many more years of living life on your terms. You deserve to open doors, turn faucets, and hold on to what matters with confidence and ease. Grip strength is more than just muscle. It's a symbol of your resilience, your independence, and your commitment to yourself. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. And if you found other ways to keep your hands strong or noticed how small habits have made a big difference in your life, I'd love to hear your stories. Together, we can support each other on this journey toward lasting strength and health, one simple squeeze at a time. Habit 6. Post-shower recovery time and heart health. There's a quiet moment that often goes unnoticed after the warmth of a shower, a moment that holds powerful clues about your heart's health and your body's resilience. I'm talking about how long it takes for your breathing and heart rate to settle back to normal once you step out of the steam and warmth. For years, I never gave it a second thought. I'd finish my shower, dry off, and rush into the next part of my day. But that simple recovery time, I learned, could say a lot about how well my heart and body were aging. It was Janet, a dear friend, who first opened my eyes to this. She's always been active and conscious about her health, but she started noticing something strange. After showering, her smartwatch would show an elevated heart rate that lingered longer than usual, sometimes up to 15 minutes. At first, she thought it was a glitch or maybe she was just feeling a little anxious. But after a few weeks, she brought it up with her cardiologist. Her doctor explained that prolonged recovery time after mild physical exertion, like a warm shower, is a red flag signaling decreased cardiovascular efficiency. Simply put, a healthy heart should calm down fairly quickly after mild stress. If it takes longer than 3 to 5 minutes for your heart rate and breathing to return to resting levels, it means your heart is working harder than it should. This extra workload can be a sign of underlying heart issues or accelerated aging of your cardiovascular system. I found this both sobering and enlightening. It made me realize how important it is to listen to these small, everyday signals. The heart isn't something we can see or touch, but it's working quietly in the background every second, keeping us alive and well. And when it starts to struggle, it sends subtle signs that we often miss. Janet's story inspired me to pay closer attention to my own body's response after showering. I started timing how long it took for my breath to steady and my pulse to calm down. At first, I didn't have any special device, just a simple stopwatch on my phone. I noticed that sometimes, especially on days when I felt a bit tired or stressed, my recovery time stretched longer than I wanted to admit. The good news is, there are gentle techniques that can help improve this vital recovery. Janet's cardiologist recommended a simple breathing exercise to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your nervous system responsible for rest and digest. Sitting on the edge of the tub or a shower chair, placing a hand on your chest, and taking slow, deep breaths where your exhale is twice as long as your inhale can work wonders. Doing this for about 10 breaths helps your body relax and speeds up recovery. Another surprising tip is to gradually cool your shower water during the last 30 seconds. It might sound counterintuitive after enjoying the warmth, but cooler water stimulates your blood vessels to respond more flexibly. Cardiologists at the Cleveland Clinic have found that this practice can improve vascular responsiveness, helping your heart manage everyday stresses better. Making these small changes became a daily ritual for me. After each shower, I'd take a moment to breathe deeply, calm my heart, and allow my body to reset. Over the weeks, I felt more energized and noticed my resting heart rate was a little lower during my regular checkups. It gave me a sense of control and hope that, even in my later years, I could support my heart's health with simple, mindful actions. Research published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology confirms that recovery capacity after mild exertion is one of the strongest predictors of cardiovascular events and overall longevity in adults over 65. It even outperforms traditional risk factors like cholesterol levels. Knowing this, I felt empowered to make my post-shower recovery a priority, not just a forgotten moment, but a key part of my health routine. I began sharing these insights with friends and family. Many were surprised to learn how much this simple habit could impact their well-being. One neighbor, who had struggled with unexplained fatigue, started timing her recovery and incorporating breathing exercises. She reported feeling more alert and less stressed within a month. It's easy to overlook the signs our bodies give us in moments of quiet care. But as I've learned, paying attention to these details can make all the difference in maintaining heart health and living independently longer. So, I encourage you to take a moment tomorrow morning after your shower. Notice how your heart feels. Take that time to breathe deeply and allow your body to rest. You're honoring your heart, your life, and the many days ahead. Remember, every breath you take is a chance to nurture your strength and resilience. And if you ever notice your recovery time stretching too long or feeling unsteady, don't hesitate to talk with your doctor. You're not alone, and there's help and hope every step of the way. Your heart is your lifelong companion. Treat it with kindness, listen to its whispers, and it will carry you through many more beautiful years. As we come to the end of this journey together, I want to take a moment to remind you how much power you hold in your hands. Power to listen, to care, and to gently nurture your body every day. These 6 simple bathroom habits aren't just routines. They're keys to unlocking more healthy, independent years filled with joy and freedom. It's easy to overlook the small signs or write them off as just part of getting older, but now you know better. Your body speaks in quiet ways, offering clues and invitations to take better care of yourself. You deserve to wake up feeling strong, balanced, and confident. You deserve restful nights and peaceful mornings. You deserve to move through your days with grace and independence. And the beautiful truth is, you don't have to wait for a crisis or a warning to start making these changes. Every day is a new chance to embrace small, manageable steps that add up to a lifetime of well-being. So I ask you, what surprised you most about these habits? Which one feels like the right place for you to begin? I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Share your story in the comments below, and let's create a community where we support and inspire one another to live our best lives. If this video has touched you or given you hope, please like it, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe for more practical, science-backed tips tailored just for seniors. Remember, you are worthy of health, happiness, and all the years ahead. Let's walk this path together.